Good morning and welcome to Citizen Extra, the Tuesday edition with me, Fred Indimuli. Yes, 20 days and counting to the elections. The presidential running mates debate that never was continues to make headlines this morning. Meanwhile, a Twitter account with the handle @Kariara Mudhiora, who was the only running mate who showed up for the debate yesterday, is quickly gaining followers by the thousands. Now, what are your views about the no-show by the running mates for the debate? We have our reporters on standby in different areas to get your opinions on this matter, and we'll be doing that in just a while. We'll also be looking at some of the news making headlines on our dailies this morning with regard to election preparedness in terms of security, procurement of ballot papers printing, as well as the cost of this process. Also happening today is a memorial service for the late politician Nicholas Kipiator Biwott that is happening at the AIC Milimani Church in Nairobi, with the burial set for Thursday in Elgeyo Marakwet. To help us discuss this issue this morning, we do have in studio analysts Eric Wanjohi, we have Owidi Odoyo, and Professor George Wajakoya will be engaging this gentleman in a while. But before that, let's get these reactions from we do have reactions from Mombasa. I'll be getting those opinions with regard to what happened yesterday with the running mates debate. We also do have a reporter in Gishu, John Wanyama, on standby, as well as Laura Otieno, and we'll be heading there in a while. But let's start off with the opinions in Mombasa. What do the people in Mombasa feel about what happened with the presidential running mates debate yesterday?
Kwa majina naitwa Gilbert Ngozi. Kulingana na ule mjadala ambao vyombo vya habari vilikuwa vimepanga siku ya jana, kwa kusema kweli kama Wakenya tuliudhika sana na ilikuwa ni makosa makubwa. Tulikuwa tunatarajia wagombea wenza wakuja pale katika vyombo vya runinga tuwaulize maswali, wakiingia ofisini watafanya nini wa Kenya, lakini hawakufika. Kwanza kabisa ningemlaumu kabisa naibu wa rais Mheshimiwa William Ruto na serikali ya Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Kama wanajikamba mbele ya wananchi hadharani wamefanya mambo hii na watafanya mambo hii, kwa nini hakujitokeza kimasa kuja katika vyombo vya habari wananchi tumuulize maswali? Yeye ndiye alikuwa mtu wa kwanza kukataa maneno na hakujitokeza kabisa kimasa. Tumekuwa tukimwona akisema kwamba serikali ya Jubilee imefanya mambo hii, serikali ya Jubilee imefanya mambo hii. Kwa nini anaogopa kuja public? Ndugu zangu wa Kenya, naambia kwamba hii si serikali ambayo ni watu ambao wamehijack wao ni watu ambao wamehijack. Hawataki kabisa Wakenya waendelee. Tafadhali ndugu zangu, tuache serikali ya Jubilee, tupikie serikali ya NASA ili Wakenya tuendelee mbele. Asanteni.
Kwa majina naitwa Daudi, na kama Mkenya sikufurahia kamwe kabisa hawa kutokuja katika mjadala huu. Kitu cha kwanza, wanasiasa wana propaganda nyingi sana ambazo wanazieneza katika mikutano. Inaonekana wengi walikataa kuja pale ile ulizo swali la ukweli. Je, hivi na hivi ni hivi? Ile uoga, ukimwona mtu yote anayeuza sera anakataa kwenda kuulizwa swali kama hii sera yako ni ukweli ama ni urongo, basi hiyo ni mrongo. Yoyote ambaye hakufika pale, naomba wananchi msimwamini. Kama huwezi fika kuuza sera zako kwa kuulizwa swali la direct, wataka wewe kuja kutudanganya kwenye mikutano yako, basi hiyo ni mrongo. Kitu kingine ambacho hakikufurahisha wananchi, hawa wanasiasa wanajigamba wamefanya hili, wengine wanasema watafanya lile. Kwa nini wewe usije tukakuuliza swali direct, tukakuuliza wewe ilikuwa ulifanya jambo hili, kwa nini ile halikufanyika? Wewe huku ulikataa kuja. Jambo lingine nikimalizia hapa hivi. Kwa majina yangu naitwa Jackson Katu. Mimi nimetoka Kisauni Mwandoni. Ninashangaa naibu rais waliitwa katika huu mjadala alafu wanaignore. Mfano kama naibu rais ambaye mtu ambaye yuko serikalini, ni yeye angetuonyesha mfano mzuri. Maana countrywide wanazunguka wakisema kwamba Jubilee imefanya mambo. Mbona jana wanaitwa na wanakataa kuenda kuhudhuria kikao? Hiyo ndio jambo la kunini. Kwa hivyo Kenya tuwe na sauti moja, tufanye mabadiliko, tuchukue mtoto mwingine mchanga tuanze kumkuza na tupate mabadiliko. Asanteni.
Kwa majina naitwa Ramadhan Beja kutoka Kisauni Mlaleo. Ile jambo la jana la mjadala wa manaibu wa rais wote wa Kenya ilikuwa jambo la kuhuzunisha sana, baada ya kuona wale wagombea wengine wote kukataa kuja tuelezea ni yapi wanaweza kutufanyia baada ya kiingia ofisini. Sasa hapo tukaona kwamba ni sasa hivi itakuwa ni makosa makubwa sana kama serikali itakosa kutuelezea ni yapi ametufanyia na ni yapi ambayo anaweza kutufanyia huko mbele. Sisi wananchi tuweze kutoa wale maswali yetu yale ambayo tuko nayo huku mashinani, ili tujue sasa serikali ni ipi ambayo sasa iko sawa na ipi gani ambayo haiko sawa sawa. Kwa hivyo yale ambayo yalifanyika jana tunasikitika sana sisi kama Wakenya.
Asante sana mheshimiwa. Mimi naitwa mheshimiwa mtarajiwa Dickson Misuku Kisauni. Sasa hii mjadala wa jana wale kukosa kuja, they have a reason, they have a question for Kenyans, from Kenyans. Waseme jambo gani iliwafanya wasiende pale? Manake ile kukosa kwenda pale wanatuogopa nini, na wakiwa hapa nje wanatuahidi mambo mengi kwamba watafanya, wamefanya. Lakini jana kama tunataka hata sisi pia tuwaulize maswali, hawataki kujitokeza. Hiyo ni mambo mengine mbaya sana. Manake huku wanatudanganya, lakini wakati tukitaka kuwahoji hawataki kuja. They have something to tell us for Kenyans why they didn't turn up. Hiyo ni kura wamepoteza.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Mkenya Mlalahoi. Mimi mjadala wa jana sikupenda NASA iende, sababu coverage yote ya media imekuwa ikipeana kwa Jubilee. Wamekuwa kipeana coverage nyingi kwa Jubilee kwa kuwa wamejenga barabara yenyewe hatuzioni. Kwa hivyo sisi kama NASA coverage yetu kwa media imekuwa ni very less. Media has not been performing very perfectly within the last 5 years. So hakuna haja sisi NASA kupoteza time yetu kwa watu ambao hawana haja na sisi. Sisi tuko kwa wananchi, na kura fika mwezi wa 8 tarehe 9 mwezi huu mwaka huu tutakuwa Raila anaingia pale na mambo yanaanza kunyoka, media yenyewe pia itanyoka.
Well, those are just some of the opinions from viewers in Mombasa. Those are personal opinions, I have to say. Each varied depending on who they support in the political divide. Remember, the question is, we're asking them to react to what happened yesterday in the presidential running mates debate, where most of the candidates failed to show up. Only one, Eliud Mudhiora Kariara, did show up. We're just about to sample some more views. And let's link up now with our reporter from Kisumu, Laura Otieno. Laura, very good morning. How is Kisumu this morning? And what do people feel about what happened yesterday in the presidential running mates debate?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Fred, back at our communication center. And here in the county of Kisumu, people have a mixed sentiment about yesterday's boycott of the 7 presidential running mates. Of course, only Mudhiora Kariara showed up for the first leg, and of course in the second leg, the two actually considered kingpins in this race did not show up. And so if I could maybe get the opinion straight from the horse's mouth, what are your sentiments, sir?
My sentiment was about the boycott of yesterday's presidential debate. Is that we have realized that there's a contentious issues that are supposed to be addressed by both sides, and the sides should be NASA and the Jubilee only. The rest are not important to us, because after all, we want a scenario whereby the problems of Jubilee can be converted to reality by NASA, or vice versa. But if it is mixed up with other people, then it will be a debate that will not bear any fruit at all. Yeah.
So maybe only one candidate showed up. What do you think about that candidate?
Now, the candidate who showed up, we cannot comment about him so much, because he showed up willingly, and even what he said are not important to us, because after all, he is not a strong contender in this race. Yeah. So we expected the 2 strong contenders to appear, and if they did not appear, then that is not good, because we wanted to see them live, we wanted them to articulate issues, we wanted to ask them questions, because the other side is Jubilee, the other side is NASA. So what are the plans of NASA, and what are the Jubilees going to tell us, because they are in power, and we wanted to see a scenario whereby they tell us that they were given time and they have done this and that, and they want to do this and that. But NASA should also appear there to tell us that they are going to convert those things into realities, so that people can give the money to take over. Yes.
Thank you very much. Sir, could you please tell us your opinion on that?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed about what I saw. I mean, Kenya was glued to TV from across the country, from Todonyang to Amboseli, from Mandera to Kisumu, from Turkana to Lamu. So we expected our leaders to appear and give us articulate issues. But I was so much disappointed that none appeared. And on the issue of this guy, I mean the young man who appeared, I must say he has strong points, but the problem is he's not so much informed on taxation, costing, and maybe research and development. If he can actually dig deep or research more on that, then he'll have issues to present to the people. Otherwise, I was so disappointed the text messages you are getting, but I also must actually talk to the panelists. Actually, they're criticizing the leaders so much, to an extent we even got shocked. You know, it's said even in the book of Proverbs that it's wise to be calm. Yeah, but when you make a lot of noise, now you become somebody who's not wise. Yeah.
Do you think the debates are actually going to shape the opinion of Kenyans on the phone?
Yes. The debates will definitely shape the opinions of Kenyans, and that's why I want NASA leaders to appear, Jubilee leaders to appear. Just come and talk to the millions of Kenyans. I mean, the hundreds were in attendance here, but millions were watching. The media gave a very, very golden opportunity. Golden opportunity gone to waste. It was terrible. Yeah.
Yes. Fred, those are some of the sentiments of the people here. They feel like the one candidate who showed up didn't quite articulate his points very well, and they expected the two sort of kingpins to show up. But of course, as you heard them say, they were quite disappointed. But of course, we will be following up those conversations here on the ground and be updating you with the latest here from the county of Kisumu. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Laura Otieno there, all the way from the lakeside city of Kisumu, giving us an update on reactions with regard to yesterday's boycott by running mates of the presidential running mates debate. Let's now move on to Uasin Gishu, and in specific Eldoret town, where our reporter, our reporter John Wanyama is on standby. John, a very good morning. If you can hear me, give us an update with regard to this issue that we're discussing. Yesterday, only 1 out of 7 presidential running mates showed up for the debate. What are the reactions from Eldoret?
A very good morning to you in Dimuli, and here in Eldoret town, residents are very mad to those running mates who never turned up to the meeting, and even those who turned up but they were very late as per what it was planned yesterday. Kenyans are asking themselves so many questions. If these people who are applying to a topmost job, they can fail to come for an interview. They only gave the CV, and when it came to time for the interview, they didn't even turn up or show up. So these questions are rising, and it has really raised eyebrows here in Uasin Gishu County, where Kenyans are asking what will happen if they go ahead and employ such people who cannot even follow simple rules like coming to the debate as early as they were planned. In the morning, if we can just have some views from residents of Uasin Gishu County, whom they have said that they really planned to come to, they had their supper very early last evening just to ensure that they can catch up with the debate yesterday, but they were disappointed when these people, they never showed up. If I can start with you, maybe what are your views concerning, if you can move close here, concerning the yesterday debate?
Kwa majina naitwa Julius Kibrop. Chama ambayo ningependa kusema ni kwamba katika nchi ya sasa ambayo tunasema kwamba ni digital era, ningependa kwamba kama nchi zingine wakati waleta former presidents na deputies wakuja waweze kuachiwa, ningependa kwamba siku zijazo watu kama unataka kiti ukiitwa kuja kuachiwa, ni mzuri uweze kuja kusema sera. Na vile ningependa kusema kwamba hata media, sijui kama watu walikuwa wameambiwa, walikuwa wamekubali ama hawakuwa wamekubali, because tunajiuliza ilikuwa namna gani hao kuweza kuja kutoa sera zao. Nataka nishukuru vile kwa vile wakati wanazunguka kubeana sera zao president na deputy na deputies wengine, ni mzuri sana ingine waende kwa TV ili watu waweze kuwaochi, especially wale raia waweze kuwaochi, waseme kwamba watoe sera zao mbele ya watu, kwa maana kuna wazee wale wenye wako nyumbani ambao wanataka kusikia kwamba wanasema namna gani.
Thank you. Pengine maoni yako ni yepi kuhusiana na huo mjadala wa jana?
Hakika sisi wa Kenya tumefedheheshwa sana na tumesikitishwa sana, kwa sababu wa Kenya wote wamekaa katika TV zao kutaka kufuata sera za wanasiasa wetu, viongozi wetu, lakini la kutushangaza wote wamehepa. Na hii ilikuwa nafasi ya dhahabu mtu kujieleza. Wa Kenya milioni wote walikuwa wako tayari kumsikiliza, lakini wanasiasa hawa wanahepa mjadala huu, lakini wao wamekuwa wamepanda mandege, wanatumia mabilioni kwenda kuwafikia wa Kenya, na ili hali kulikuwa na nafasi nzuri ya kuwafikia wa Kenya. bali wao wanavaa sera zao, wanavaa nguo zao za uniform zao wakiruka kama wanafunzi. Nasikitika sana kutumia neno hili, lakini wamewaangusha Wakenya, na Wakenya wamekuwa hawana na imani tena na wanasiasa kama hawa. Asante.
If you can move closer, if we can hear your views.
Ndio, okay. Kwa majina naitwa Shaban Juma. Nasikitishwa sana na vile viongozi hawakuweza kufika hapo, na wakati wanakuja kwa mikutano yao tunajitokeza kwa wingi. Watu wengine hata wajua atakula nini, wanashinda wanachomona jua, tunawasikiza. Sasa jana ndio tulingojea, kuna watu wazee wako nyumbani ambao hawezi kuja kwa mikutano yao, miadhara yao, lakini walikuwa kingojea pale kwa TV. Sasa inasikitisha sana kwa sababu wale watu walikuwa manyumbani hawakuweza kusikia yale maoni, na wamekataa, kumaanisha wao hawako tayari kutuongoza katika nchi. Maoni yangu ni hayo.
Okay. Pengine mama, kama unaweza karibia kuhusiana na mjadala wa jana ambao manaibu wa rais walifaa wahudhuria lakini hawakuhudhuria. Kama Mkenya, maoni yako ni yapi?
Okay, ningependa kusema kwanza mimi ni mfuasi sugu wa Jubilee, na jana niliweza kukaa na mtoto wangu, ni mdogo wako class 3. Alitaka kuona debate juu ni mfuasi sugu wa Jubilee, but mtoto mdogo wa class 4 alikuwa disappointed jana. So tulingoja na hatukuweza kuwaona. So ningependa kuambia naibu wa rais jana alifanya makosa, kama naweza sema hivyo. Wangekuja uzo sera zao tuweze kusikia, ndio tuweze kuwapigia kura. Asante.
Thank you very much, Indimuli. Those are some views from our residents here. Clearly you can see they are very much disappointed because these people, they were expecting them very early in the morning, and the hotels here in Eldoret yesterday, they were full and packed, just waiting to see what these people will come out to argue so that they can just choose who to vote for when it comes to 8th of August this year. From my side, I have no much in Indimuli. I come back to your studio.
Thank you, John. John Wanyama there, live from Eldoret Town, Uasin Gishu County, giving us an update on the reactions with regard to yesterday's presidential running mates debate, where 7 out of the 8 candidates boycotted. Only one, Eliud Mudhiora Kariara, showed up, and he got at least 30 minutes to present his case. Of course, we'll keep on sampling more views from across the country. Viewers, I told you earlier, we do have Eric Wanjohi, Owidi Odoyo, and Professor George Wajakoya in studio. Incidentally, Professor George Wajakoya was at one point a running mate to Abdul Badida. Am I right?
Yes,
Professor.
Yes, you are.
So if at all everything had gone right, you would be one of those people on the podiums yesterday. You would have been.
Definitely, I would have been there.
Definitely, you would have been there.
Yes.
Your quick thoughts about the boycott by running mates.
First of all, let me thank Kenyans in general, and let me also sympathize with the situation by saying it in the following way. Who are the biggest losers in this debate? 1, Kenyans in general. 2, the media. And 3, Kenya's image in the international community. Number 2, why is this debate issue not pegged in the Constitution? The question is, should it be pegged in the Constitution to regulate a national issue of this importance? Number 3, where someone wants to take charge of a nation and is ready to take an oath to represent this nation, either as a president, deputy president, governor, senator, member of parliament, women representative, or MCA, that person has to be very, very serious, because he's playing with the preamble of the Constitution of this country. There are 2 sentences in that preamble which says, "We the people." That is very fundamental. We the people of Kenya do hereby in our sovereignty. That is major. Now, if you look at presidential candidates and their deputy presidential candidates absconding the whole thing, then this becomes a pariah state in waiting. With the exception of the young man who tried his level best. I would also attribute to that trying of level best because his presidential candidate is from the diaspora, and probably the diaspora issue was imminent to bring in what usually happens outside this country.
Yeah, and by now I'm sure now the running mate, Eliud Mudhiora Kariara, is perhaps better known than even the presidential candidate that they are running with. But Eric Wanjohi, do you agree with Professor Wajakoya that probably it should be part of the laws of this land, that presidential debate, including the one for the running mates, should be part of our laws?
Fred, first of all, I'd like to say that we as Kenyans need to come out of this mentality of boycotts and strikes, especially where it comes from leaders in authority. It is very bad, it is very sad, and we need to actually cultivate a culture of discussion, and discussion through such debates is very healthy. With regards to what Prof has said, it is actually very true. When you look at countries like the US, debates are mandatory. And not only mandatory, but they actually influence the outcome of an election. Let me take you, for instance, to 1980, when President Carter decided that he's not going to participate in the first debate just because John Anderson had been included in the debate, in the panel, and John Anderson by that time was an independent candidate. Ronald Reagan actually went and participated in the debate, and he did very well. In the subsequent debate in the fall that year, Carter decided to join the panelists in the debates, and be it as it may in his performance, Reagan won the election that year. Look at another example, some years down the line, of John McCain, when he decided that he wanted to postpone the first debate that was to be held in Mississippi, and advised Barack Obama to actually go to Washington to address the financial crisis, to help settle the financial crisis. And Obama was very clear where he said that with or without John McCain's presence, he will participate in that debate. And the reasons that he gave were very encouraging, because he said that it is the responsibility of a president to know that once a president becomes president, he will have to deal with more than one issue at one go. He will have to deal with multiple issues at a time. And we know the results of the outcome of that debate. Obama won. So in Kenya, we also need to refocus our energies and say that when we have an opportunity to present ourselves before Kenyans, we need to capitalize on that. Fred, Section 131 of the Constitution is very clear, where it says that the president is a symbol of national unity. So any presidential candidate that is coming to present themselves to Kenyans should be the symbol of national unity. What other forum would you have to present yourself in terms of national unity, where you can come and tell the nation this is how you want to unite them by these policies, by these principles, than such a debate? So I agree with Prof that it's a high time we put such debates to be a mandatory requirement in our elections.
Wanawidi Odoyo, do you really think it's necessary to make such things, involvement or participation in a public debate, when you're seeking leadership and you're out there spending your money campaigning and you're given a platform? Do you think it's really necessary to make this mandatory, that you have to come here and debate? Shouldn't it be coming from the politicians themselves, that they're looking for any possible opportunity to actually sell their policies?
Maybe not mandatory, because you can make it a culture that you have to go present your case to the people of Kenya. But this thing that happened yesterday exposed the soft underbelly of the politicians. It is revealing their deceptive nature, because politicians spend a lot of money crisscrossing the country to talk to the electorate, and they spend time. But on Sunday, I saw a tweet from the DP. He said, "I have received an update that there will be a debate." Is it true? First of all, when you analyze that statement, it was to prepare Kenyans that I am actually not interested in coming to that debate, because a tweet is a public thing. If he really was interested in knowing where there would be a debate, he would have faced the very organizers and asked them, is it true that we'll have a debate? Yesterday, he tweeted again, saying, courtesy demands that, the date, time, and the rules of engagement are made public. If he can take time to organize a political rally in a county just to meet a few thousands of Kenyans and speak to them, how come it was not possible for him to engage the organizers of this debate and get the true facts of the debate? We also need to look at even the other candidates. Why did they not appear? They do not want intellectual engagement. They want the public that they use a monologue on They tell them things and they cheer and they believe. But in a situation where they are going to get journalists, intellectual Kenyans to engage them, they would not appear there. Because some of the lies they tell the public will not pass the test of a public debate.
Yes. And perhaps away from the two main candidates, and when I say main, it's in reference to the parameters that were used to pick the two-tier debate format, where any campaign that did not poll above 5% was to have their debate separately, and the ones that at least have over 5% were going to have theirs differently. Now, 6 candidates were set to appear yesterday for the first debate. Only one appeared, Eliud Muthiora. But most of these candidates are unknown. Don't you think that probably even for them, they lost a lot of ground? Perhaps even lost the biggest opportunity, Professor, that this should have been the best time for them to actually come out and be known, because all TV stations, all major media stations were broadcasting this event live.
Yes, that is true. First of all, how did Dida become known? It was because of the debate. And why would he refuse to appear, or his deputy to appear on this one? Felicity. But I'll take my qualms with Dr. Ikuru Okot. We went to the same university, Warwick Law School, but I was 5 years ahead of him. And he's a very, very intelligent character. And for him, having worked and participated in the constitution-making process in this country, he ought to have sent his deputy there, irrespective of the qualms and the non-qualms. You want to make a difference in the country, be on the forefront. Don't follow others. Don't say that because the president has refused to go and the opposition leader has refused to go, therefore I am also refusing to go. Who are you? You are not known to anybody apart from what you have done before. They lost an opportunity. They have lost an opportunity of the lifetime. And what I'm trying to say, or what I try to envision, is what will happen after this debate that we have today, that they will change their mind now to come for the presidential. The only person I would like to listen to is Aluyu, because his deputy came. But when you come to the deputy president tweeting, and I don't know if I'm right, that Mr. Ichungwa, or Honorable Ichungwa,
yes,
Imani Ichungwa was to represent him. If that is true, then that is the biggest joke of the year. A president or a deputy president cannot be replaced by another person, proxy person. Whether one is in electorate office or not in electoral office or in a potential position.
Yes.
So in this case, they lost it, and they lost it big, and the media also lost it big, as I said before. Because what I looked at when this young man was being interrogated, there were some questions that were so pathetic. This is a young man who is trying to make a living by coming up and asking Kenyans, here I am, elect me, if you can, and he's making his case. And then you are asking him leading questions that he cannot answer. You must know that, first of all, debates need proper and adequate preparation. They need specialists like my friend Odoyo here and my other learned friend the other side to prepare you, because you are going to face over 40 million people that you are seeking employment from. So inadequate preparation, like what we saw yesterday, is really tantamount to a tautology of, I don't know, mischief. So in this case, I think...
Are you accusing the media of not preparing enough for that debate?
Yes, because what the media could have done also is to consult other professionals and put them in line. You as a media person, and maybe you're lucky, I do not know whether you can be a jack of all trades. Let's line up people, professionals from different backgrounds to ask different questions. If somebody is going to deal with economics in the country and development, bring in an expert to question those candidates on economics only. Bring in somebody also from the legal area, legal world, to ask them about constitutionalism or what have you. But if you are the one organizing and you are the one asking questions and you are the one condemning, something is wrong with you.
Okay. Do you agree with what Professor Ajakoya is saying, that, and this is to Eric Wanjohi, that probably even the media was not ready for this debate?
Stakeholder participation is very important. We're seeing what happened to IEBC, for instance, where they're being accused of not incorporating stakeholders in the decisions that they've been making. The question is, for such a debate to fail, were stakeholders properly engaged? Were the participants properly engaged? Were people given an opportunity to express their views as to how the debate should go? Stakeholder participation, as Professor is saying, is critical, Fred. And as he has correctly said it, how do you hold such a debate without having experts from different fields? This country has a lot of things that we need to deal with at the moment to take us to the next level, to actually attain Vision 2030. Where are the economists? Where are the politicians? Where are the political scientists? Where are the agriculturists? Where are all these other professionals in such an
You're talking about the format of the debate, that probably instead of journalists asking the questions, you should have a panel of experts fronting questions to the candidates?
We're talking about the substance of the questions that they're being asked. The questions that are being asked should not be leading questions, and should not be shallow questions. They should be questions that can actually transform this country, so that we stop looking at these participants as individuals and we start looking at them based on the issues that they are addressing. We want to hear them articulate, for instance, when it comes to improving the economy. Not just saying that they're going to improve this economy, but how? What methods are they going to bring forth? And in such a situation, who can ask a counting question other than an economist himself? So when you put, for instance, somebody who does not understand the economy of the country to ask some of these questions, it defeats the purpose or even the substance of the debate.
Okay. Owidi Odoyo, on that matter of media not being the best placed to organize debates?
No, I would disagree with my colleagues a bit on that issue. To be the President of the Republic of Kenya, you don't need to be an expert in everything, or to be the Deputy President. You really need to have just the integrity, the willpower to lead this country. Because once you get into office, if you have the willpower to provide the best services for Kenyans, you will get the experts in each of those fields that you would be asked questions. Because that would be a recipe for some of the candidates not willing to come and embarrass themselves before Kenyans. So I think the media did their best they could do. First of all, they spent a lot of money providing opportunity for people to come and listen to their leaders, and then they kept off. But as for expertise, I don't think they should be asked very technical questions. To be a president, you don't need to be an expert in everything.
Yes. Fred, kindly give me an opportunity just to comment on what my good brother has
now
said.
Now it's becoming a debate.
This is what I should have gotten my good brother has brought in a very interesting point. But I need to emphasize something, that the vision of the party, the vision of the country can only be driven by the president. If you have a president who cannot give direction on the economy of the land, simply because he has technocrats that he's going to hire, then what will the technocrats be doing? Are the technocrats supposed to be bringing forth his vision, actualizing what he's envisaged for the country? When you have technocrats that you're going to employ, but you cannot be able to articulate yourself on, for instance, national issues such as enhancing cohesion or even national unity, then what will the technocrats be doing? What cue will they be taking to follow? So it's very important, in as much as you're going to hire technocrats, at least have the principles of the vision behind you, that you can be able to articulate your vision clearly to all Kenyans. And articulating your vision means the same technocrats that you intend to hire are the same ones you're going to consult before that debate to give you a good direction to take.
Yeah, now some of the pictures we're seeing from yesterday night of some of the presidential candidates who accompanied the running mates, but much later, after the debate, the running mates debate had already ended. What do you make of this insistence by this level of candidates who insist they have to be placed on the same platform as the top two? Professor?
I think it's quite in order for if I was running for president, to go and see how my deputy is performing for the sake of reshaping my thinking. It will be a very serious issue for me to stay aside, leave alone unless I'm actually the sitting president. There's nothing wrong with me going to sit in the audience and look at my deputy in the eye to see whether this man has integrity, he can articulate, body language, eye movement, lip service, and what have you.
But the insistence that they have to be on the same platform as William Ruto and Kalonzo Musyoka, that yesterday quite a number of them boycotted the debate simply because they were not on the same debate platform as the top two. What do you make of that, Professor?
One thing is Kalonzo Musyoka has been a minister for so many years, leave alone being a vice president. And he actually ought to know, and I happen to have been his lecturer briefly at the University of Nairobi when he was doing his master's recently. I've known this man, and I've known him as a good speaker, a man who would have come in and who would have taken an advantage of Ruto's absence and really explained himself and explained NASA's principles to the advantage of many. There NASA lost. I'm sorry to say that. Now, for him also to come in and say that if Ruto was not there, he was not going to be there, that's being cheap. That's really being a mediocre. And let me use the words of Miguna yesterday on NTV. How would you come in and then bring your ego along with you by claiming that if so-and-so is not there, I'm not coming? Come on, come out and let Kenyans decide, because he actually lost almost 60% of what he would have gained. And I'm sure my friend Odoyo is going to say no, as he has been saying.
No. Yeah. But it is true, whatever Professor Wanjakoya is saying, Bwana Odoyo, because you look at the kind of gains, however small, that Eliud Mudhiora Kariara managed to make yesterday in a short span of time, an hour or two, at least in as far as his Twitter account is concerned, the numbers doubled. Yes, that means the millions of people who are watching on TV, we can't even substantiate what kind of support he got from that. Maybe not in terms of votes, but at least in terms of public presence. Maybe he may be considered next time. Don't you think that the top two candidates, and as Professor said, Kalonzo Musyoka, because he had not indicated he would not show up for the debate, that he really lost an opportunity?
He did lose a very, very, very good opportunity to meet Kenyans and talk to them. Regarding the candidates who arrived there and insisted on being with the top two candidates, for me, what I see in them, they thought this would be a non-starter. But when they saw somebody was gaining on it, they decided to rush there and want to sit there and be counted. But I think it was too late. They maybe had to play by the rules. On the other hand, on the side of Kalonzo Musyoka, I think also wherever he's sitting, he's regretting. This was an opportunity to engage Kenyans without much interruption from the opponents. Also, these others, 4 candidates, many of them wanted to sit with the other 2. That, for me, was just for public, for public exposure. But in ideal sense, they would have gained better opportunity to talk to Kenyans when they sit with their peers. Kalonzo Musyoka and William Ruto are politically way above these other people, and I think people would not pay attention to them. But when they are on their own, Kenyans would pay attention. In fact, the guy who appeared, Eliud, he grabbed a lot of public attention that he would have not grabbed if the rest were also there. It would have been shared. So I think these people lost, and now they have learned their lesson, and I expect on 24th, we will have the presidential candidates appear. If not all, but at least a substantial number.
You can see pictures there of the Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, Kimani Ichung'wah, who showed up to the venue, and he was ready to represent the Deputy President, as had been indicated on that tweet sent out last Friday or Thursday. Eric Wanjohi, what do you make of these candidates who insist that they have to be on the same platform as the top two? Eliud made his name by appearing alone way before the second debate, and he still got some viewership.
Fred, this country has very many leaders, some that have been already known and others are yet to be discovered. This was a good opportunity for people, especially those that have not been discovered, to come and tell Kenyans that don't listen to the rhetoric of the people who have played party politics, that they are only popular because they are in a popular party. These are the ideas I have for the country. These are the ideas that my leader has for this country. This is the direction that we want to take. That kind of substance is very, very important to bring forth, because this time we have elections in 2017, we'll have elections again in 2022 and other elections to come. Who are these leaders that we have not discovered that can tremendously transform this country? We need to tap into them. And this was a good opportunity to put all of them in one line so that we can be able to determine who is a person of substance and who plays on the politics of party.
Yes. Professor Wajakoya, as we wrap up this discussion, the presidential debate is coming up on the 24th of this month. That's next week on Monday. What would you advise these candidates, including the ones who insist they have to be on the same platform with the top two?
Those who insist that they have to be on the same platform are failures. Kenyans should not take them seriously. They're egoistic, and actually they live in an nonsensical atmosphere. Those that want to come in to be seen, there is still an opportunity. Let the president come. I know he will. Let the opposition leader Raila Amolo Odinga come, and the rest. Let us see them, even if their deputies never came. Let them make a difference. Let them put their egos in the basket and flush them in the toilet. We want to look at them in the eye. We want to see their body language. We want to know whether some of them have taken something or not. Let us look at them and let them talk to us. Thank you.
Okay. Owidi Odoyo, with that?
I think they are taking a cue from, there had been two other initial debates gubernatorial here in Nairobi. It was arranged by some media house. And I noticed how these minnows in the election ballot behaved with the incumbents. They all took their guns to him and told him everything, some unpalatable. In fact, some I expected the moderators to stop them from doing. And I think this caused fear in the majority of these people. And I think for the media also to have decided that they are separating this, I think they took the cue from that and realized that these people who have nothing to lose will spend their time telling the more serious candidates anything and everything, even if it didn't matter on that debate. So it takes a very serious, a very brave incumbent to appear in debate. In fact, I commended Kidero for having appeared on such a debate twice without fearing that the minnows would throw all the dirt at him.
Yes, finally, Eric Wanjohi.
What my two brothers have said is very true. In fact, my two seniors is very true. But I'd want to advise the media and actually all Kenyans. We need to come out of the mentality of taking verbal body slams on people. If you have something to bring out, you are able to bring it out without having to insult anyone. If you have a point to bring out, let us listen to the point. But insulting or even attacking somebody does not actually add your cause, and you actually lose favor with very many people. So we need to come out of that mentality of thinking that a debate only constitutes to a debate when you insult. We've had a very good discussion this morning, and none of us has attacked the other, whether we differ or whether we agree on our points. And this is a direction that all Kenyans should take. So I'd encourage all participants, all politicians, whenever you're called upon to come forth and tell Kenyans what you're made of and what your vision is, please kindly do that. But as you come forth, stick to the issues. Do not personalize debates. Do not insult. Yes. Because all of us are Kenyans and we all have our supporters, and by doing so, we actually unite the country.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric Wanjohi. When we started this show, the Twitter handle at Kariara Mudhiora had about 8,000 followers. As we speak now, it has 9,199 and growing, because I can see the numbers still popping and changing. Even as we continue discussing, definitely Eliud Mudhiora Kariara made his name yesterday, and he has a bright political future going forward. Let's now take a break. I need to thank my panelists, Eric Wanjohi, Owidi Odoyo, and Professor George Wajakoya for helping us discuss this issue of the presidential running mates debate that happened yesterday. Only one of the 8 candidates showed up for the debate. The presidential debate happens next week on Monday. We still wait to see who will show up, if at all. Let's now take a break. Citizen Extra continues.